Hello friends, good morning to you all. Hello friends, good morning to you all. Am I audible to you? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. What we were discussing in the lab sessions previously, I think I have discussed ATML Studio 6.2. Yes, I have discussed Studio 6.2 in the previous lab session. So can anyone tell me that ATML Studio 6.2 for what purpose we are using this ATML Studio 6.2? Yes, number 5. Hello, may I have number 5 in our lab session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what purpose we use ATML Studio 6.5 6.2? हेलो.
યાદ નથી.
ઓકે, કોઈને યાદ છે એવું છે 7 નંબર? હેલો, 7 નંબર? 7 number? I
Yes,
don't
sir.
think. Yes, 7 number. So can you tell me that what is this 6.5, 6.2 Atmel Studio 6.2, and for what purpose we can use it?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, have you installed the software in your computer system?
No, sir.
Okay, so how you will be able to attend this lab if haven't installed 6.2 Studio in your system? So what you are going to do throughout the whole lab? What is your plan? Let me know. Yes, 7 number, I'm talking to you. What your thought of doing in this lab? Hello? Hello, 7 number? If you'll not be responding to my question, it will force me to remove you from this meeting. 7 number. Am I audible to you? Hello? Number 7? Hello? Number 7? Am I audible to others? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hi, yeah, 7 number. I'm asking you something. You are not replying to it.
Sir, there was some issue,
What issue?
some network issue.
Okay, so now is the network issue being resolved?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell me, if you haven't installed ATML Studio in your computer system, what you are plan
I
to
was
do?
absent in the last lab, so I will install it today.
Okay, so you will install it today. Okay. I hope all of you would have installed ATML Studio 6.2 in your computer system, and those who haven't installed it, it is my humble request to all of you to do that thing, because if you will not do that, then it would be creating a lot of issue in understanding what the things I'm explaining from over here. Okay, am I clear? Hello, am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so in today's lab session, we would be talking about looping and branching instruction in our ATmega 32. Okay, so let me recall you all that ATmega 32 is a microcontroller, and it is an AVR family microcontroller. Okay, so we are discussing ATmega 32 in our lecture sessions also, and we have already discussed the looping and branching instructions of your ATmega 32. Okay, and for those who are not knowing that what purpose we are using ATML Studio 6.2, let me tell you that we are using ATML Studio 6.2 for developing an application based on our AVR microcontroller. Okay, so this is a software environment which is being used to do all the things related to your AVR microcontrollers. It may be at Mega 32 or it may be at Mega 328P, it may be at Mega 324U, whatever the microcontroller you are having. Okay, you can program your microcontroller in both the language. Already we have talked about it that AVR family microcontrollers supports both the language of programming. One is assembly language programming and another is a C language program. So both the mode of programming is available in your ATML Studio 6.2. Okay, so for starting for the startup, we can start up programming our AVR microcontroller in assembly language, because we have discussed so many things related to assembly language in a classes also. So we can start programming our AVR ATmega 32 microcontroller in an assembly language programming in your ATML Studio 6.2. Okay, so I think you are now clear that why I'm insisting all of you to install ATML Studio 6.2, because it is an environment which is helpful for developing an application on your AVR microcontrollers. Okay, so in today's lab session, we would be discussing about how we can create a project, how we can write the code, and finally how we will be looking that how we can debug the code in our ATML Studio 6.2. So are you all ready? So let's get started. If you are ready, we can start. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay. So I am sharing my screen in which I have opened ATML Studio 6.2. So whenever you install your ATML Studio 6.2, okay, and if you open it out, you will be having this environment. Is my screen visible to everyone? Hello.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to open a new project. So you can find it out a tab over here from where you can open a new project. Otherwise, you can also open a new project from over here also. Open new project. There is a shortcut provided over here. Clicking that, we can open a new project. So first of all, we need to make a project in our ATML Studio 6.2. Okay, so is a pop-up window visible to you? If you click and open a new project, the new window will pop up. Okay, so in this new, is it visible to you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now over here you can find it out both the options of programming. Means you can go for an assembly language programming or you can go for the C language program. So if you want a C language program, then you can select this GCC C++, GCC C executable project. So you can select this. Okay. So what is GCC? GCC is nothing but it is a compiler. Okay, so in this Advanced Studio 6.2 use GCC compiler for compiling the project. Okay, so we are not going to do it right now because we need to focus upon our assembly language programming. Okay, so we need to tick this assembly language programming and we need to give the name of a project. So let me give a name of a project as loop and branch. Okay, so because we are going to see that how we can use this loop and branch instructions in our ATmega 32. So after giving a new project name, you can select where the location you need to store it. I'm using the default location where it is going to be stored in C user which is my name documents and ATmega Studio 6.2. Okay. So if you want to change your directory, you can change it from over here. If you want to keep the directory same, you can you should not be any change over here. Then press OK. So pressing an OK, it must ask that with which microcontroller you want to work with. Okay, so there are series of microcontrollers that are available from your ATmega okay, or AVR. So this is all about which microcontroller you want to select. So if I don't want to take a pain to select it from over here, I can search it in the search box also. I'll be searching for at Mega 32. Okay, so all the at Megas 32 are available over here. Okay, so from this I can select at Mega 32 where it is. At Mega 32. Yeah, I got this at Mega 32 over here on the top. Okay, so I can select Mega 32 over here, and as in when you can select any microcontroller, you will be finding out all the related data on the right hand side of the window. So if I select Mega 32, and if I want to refer my data sheet, I can refer it from over here. Okay, otherwise we already are discussing our Mega 32 in the classes, so I'm in no need of opening this data sheet. Otherwise, if you are using any other microcontroller, you need to see in the data sheet that where what are the number of timers available, what are the name of the registers, what are the RAM and all that thing. For getting the more information, you can go into the data sheet. Okay. So once you select your Atmega 32, you can press OK. So after pressing OK, the another window will pop up. Okay, where actually I can write the program. So let me wait for that. Okay. So now this is the place where I can actually write the program. So whenever we have discussed about the programming of an Atmega 32 in the class, we already discussed that actually we need to have a text editor. Okay, so this is a text editor which is available, means whatever the thing you are writing in a text editor would be given either to an assembler or to a compiler depending upon what the language you have selected, and then the compiler or an assembler would be generating the different files: EEPROM file, hex file, object file, list file, map file. All the files would be generated by the assembler. Okay, so this is the text editor place where you can add up the program. Okay, now over here something is written, that name of the project is this. It is always going to store in form of .asm. Okay, so you can see loop and branch .asm is my project created on this and this date, and the author is Mayank. Okay, actually I don't require this, but the important thing that you can see from over here is if I want to add any kind of comment in my program, I can use slash star. So slash star is used for, means whatever the things which is being written between your slash star and star slash is actually your comment. So actually I don't want this comment in my program, so I'll be removing it from this code. Okay, so am I clear? Am I clear,
Yes,
my
sir.
friends? Okay. So those who have installed your Admin Studio 6.2, please try to open your studio and get up to this editor window place. Then we will start writing the program in this window. So please do open it and get up to this place, and then we will be starting the programming of it. Okay. So let me know as you open the window. Okay, so I think by this time all of you would have opened your AdMax Studio. Yes, those who have installed it, but if those who haven't installed, I don't think they would be able to do it. Yes. So may I proceed further? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in today's lab session, we are going to look it into the looping and branching instructions. Okay, so the best program or the best application that I can select to study this looping and branching instruction is the addition of a array. Means I'll be storing an array at two different locations. Okay, and I will add that array and store the result in the form of a third array. Right? So in this case, where I can store the data. So already we have talked about that this AVR microcontroller is having three memory sections where we can store the data. One is flash, but we cannot do that in flash because as uh, flash is used to store your program. The another form of a memory which is available for storing the data is a RAM. Okay. And the third form of memory which is available is EEPROM. But EEPROM is very expensive. We cannot use it for just storing the data like array and doing an addition. So the only option that is left with us is to store the data in your RAM section. Now, in RAM section also, I need to worry about that at which memory location I can start storing the data. So the first memory location which is available for us to store a data is 0 cross 0060. The reason is we always need to start storing the data from this location 60 only because there is an IO section in a RAM means you got 00 to 5F locations which are stored for the special function registers, okay, as well as the general functions registers. All of us know that as AVR is a RISC microcontroller, it is having 32 general purpose register, and this question was being asked in your examination and all of you have answered it very nicely. So I know that you are knowing that it is having 32 general purpose register. That means 00 to 1F is your location that are being stored for R0 to R31. Okay, now after 00 to 5F, 64 values are there, and this 64 memory locations are being stored for the special function registers such as pin, pod, DDR, TCNT, TCCR, stack pointer, and EEPROM, and all the special function registers. Okay, so what we will be doing is in this program we will be storing the data, that is array, at the location 60, 73, and 60 we will be looking starting the first array. At 73 we will be starting the second array, and the result we would be start storing from the location 0 cross 0086. I'll be telling that I have selected this location because it is easy to be, is it easily visible in my program. That is the reason, that is only the reason, otherwise there is no other reason. Only reason is we need not have to start storing the data from your IO section. So always try to store the data after or from 60 location only. Okay, so the first line that I need to write as a code in my program is include. Okay, so the first line I need to write is this: include df dot inc. So can anyone tell me that what is this include dot df dot inc? Include m32 df dot inc. What is this thing for? Yes, 12 number.
I-
Yeah.
Instruction.
Yes, 13 number. Hello, 13.
Instruction.
Is it an instruction for whom?
Library NC.
Huh? Yes, 5 number.
Library NC.
Yeah, we are going to include library, that is m32df.inc. Means for every microcontroller that is standard library, as we are using at Mega 32, this is a standard library that we are going to use. And for your information, This dot include whatever the thing which is starting from dot, it is the instruction for an assembler. It is not an instruction for a microcontroller. So assembler is instructed that you need to add this library in a program. Okay. Now, if I'll say that I want to add to array, then I need to have a pointer for that. Okay. So which pointers I can take? Yeah, anyone can tell me that which pointers I can take to point out the memory location 60. Is there pointer available in my Atmega 32 or EVR? Yes, 11 number. Hello, 11 number.
No idea, sir.
Very good.
So
Then,
I was
uh,
absent in last classes due to some health issues.
okay. 12 number. 12 number. Number 12.
So don't know.
Don't know. That is very nice answer. Then anyone from U5, you don't know. Okay, so it is my duty to get you familiar that what are the things available in your microcontroller. Even though this is the things I have discussed already in the class, even though I will be discussing the same thing once again in the lab sections also. So we are having 3 pointer registers. Okay, X, Y, and Z. And this X, Y, Z, they are used for different purposes. Okay, I jump, we are going to use Z register, and for EEPROM we are using again a Z register, but Y register and X register, or X, Y, and Z, all these three, they are having one common thing, that they can be used to point the RAM section of your EVR. Okay, so I need to initialize these pointers first. Okay, so let me initialize this pointer by instruction LDI XH, the higher value of my H register, which is nothing but it is your R26. So XH I'll be storing with 0 cross 0 0. Okay, and same way I'll be initializing my uh, uh, XL with the value 0 cross 60. So this would be my first pointer. Now I need to get on the other pointer also. Same way I can do it, LDI Y H cross 0 0. Okay, if I omit this, then also it will not going to make any kind of difference, because as and when you reset your microcontroller, all the values of your general purpose registers, they are 0 and it is one of it. Okay, so if I talk about YH, it is my 28 R28 general purpose register, which is working as YH. Same way I need to have YL, so LDI YL, and I will initialize it with 0 cross 73. Same way I need to initialize my Z register also, so LDI ZH, which is nothing but it is R31. Again I'll do it with 0 0, and LDI ZL, which is nothing but it is R30. I will initialize with 0 cross 86. Okay, so I'm ready with these 3 pointers. Okay, I'm ready to point out the memory locations, different memory locations in my RAM. Okay, now for array addition, I need a pointer also, sorry, a counter also. This is all about your pointers. The other thing that is required is your counter. So let me initialize my counter LDI R16. I'm using R16. You can use any other register, but it must be from R16 onwards. Okay, because LDI instruction won't work with R15. Okay, so LDI R16, I'm going to have 10 values. So I'll be initializing it with 09. Okay, because 0 to 9, they are 10 values. So I am ready with the counter. Now what the next thing that I can do? So now I need to get the value in some register. Okay, so over here there is not a case that you need to get the things into your accumulator. You can use any of a general purpose register. for doing arithmetic and logical operations. So let me select 18. So what I'll be doing is I'll be loading the value of R18 by the location or the content of a location which is pointed by my X register. Same way I will get the value from the other into another register which is pointed by my Y. So with LD instruction, what you can do is you can copy the content of the memory location pointed by your X pointer into your general purpose register. Okay, so now I have got these two values in my two registers. So the next thing that I can do is add these two things. So add R18 and R19. Okay, so now can anyone tell me that if I do add operation between R19 and R18, where I can find out the result? Hello? Yes, 5 number. In which register I can find it out my result? Hello, are we connected?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell me that in which register the result would be?
Z.
No, 12 number. Anyone can answer it. Okay, if you're not interested in giving an answer from over here, it is very compulsory for me to tell you. Okay, so if you do an arithmetic operation, then always the result would be stored in your first register. Means if I have add R18, R19, then the result would be stored in R18. If I would write add R19 comma R18, then the result would be stored in your R19. So whatever the register coming first, the result of an arithmetic operation would be stored in that register. Okay, so I'll be doing adding operation of my R18 and R19. Okay, and I can see the result in my R18. So I want to store this result in a third array that is pointed by Z. So I can use st instruction. So st z comma R18. Okay, so you can see I have pointed out the memory location with my X, Y and Z register. Then I have loaded the counter. Then I have got the value in two registers. I have added that two values, and finally I have stored that into the resultant array. Okay, so this is the case for the first iteration. I need to do such 9 iterations. Okay, so for that I cannot write all these things again and again and again. Okay, because unnecessarily it would be the wastage of my flash memory. So for that we can go for the concept of looping. Okay, so we will try to get all this thing in a loop. Okay, we will try to get all this thing, means all these 4 instructions in a loop. Okay, but for that what we need to do is, so if I want to point out my next memory location, I need to increment my inc xl. Okay, so that will start pointing out the next location. Same way I need to increment my yl also, and same way I need to increment my zl also. So that will start pointing out the next memory location. But I also need to take care about that this operation must be done 10 times only. Okay, so I have initialized my counter. Okay, so it is mandatory for me to decrement this counter dec r16. Okay, decrement my r16, and then I can go for branching. So I can use branch br not equal to 0 to some label. So I'm giving label as loop, and I can repeat this process from over here. So I will be getting label at this place. Okay, So to increase the readability of the code, I'll manage this text, something like this. Sorry. So the code is more readable because you can find it out that from where the loop is there. Okay, so branch if not equals to 0, and if all this thing is being done, finally you need to end the program. So how you are going to end the program? So if we take an example of our 8085 microprocessor programs that we have done in the previous lab sessions, we find it out that there is an halt instruction HLT, but in this case we are not having such halt instruction. So we would get our CPU busy at one particular location by writing here RJMP here. Okay, so it will get trapped in this infinite loop. Okay, so it will not be going out of this thing. Okay, so this is just a type of an halt instruction. Means as we are not having a halt instruction, we can do it by some this means. Okay, it is not the case that always you need to have here jump here. Yeah, you can write here jump here, R jump here. The only thing is you cannot write immediate jump. Okay, that is only the thing. So I hope I am clear up to here, my friends. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's move further what we can do. So I think everyone is very clear with how we can write the program. Okay, so the now the next thing is we need to build this solution. Means we need to convert it in our machine language program, and we also need to check about the syntax uh, of this program. So for that we need to do build of this program. So build, you can see the report of build program. Okay, so there is one error. Oh, so sorry, it must be just let me rectify this problem. So now it was just a quotation problem. So you can see that the build is successful with no fail or no error. And you, if you want to see, you can see that it is being stored in your code section, and it is including 34 different locations are being used for storing this program. That is only the thing, the detail you can read, but this is how you can build the solution. So yes, I have built the solution successfully. So let me start running this code. So let me go into the debug mode. For that, it will ask me that what is the thing I want to use. I will be using a simulator for doing this debugging. So I'll be going in the step into. So I'll be going for the step execution. Okay, so now you can see the CPU view where you can find it out, this three register X, Y, and Z. Okay, so these are the three registers that are available over here. Okay, in your memory window, if you don't have a default open memory window, you can go to debug windows and you can click on memory and you will be able to see this memory. Okay, sorry. So in the memory, we are interested in our RAM. So I am going in iRAM, and over here you can see that it is 60, 73, and 86. So this is being arranged in this way. That is the reason I have taken 60, 73, and 86. Okay. So what I'll be doing is I'll store some values in this location. Let me store 0 to sorry, 0 to 0 to 0 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many values I have stored? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. And in the second area, I can store some value. Let's say it is 6. It is 6, 6, 6, 6. I have stored that values in my RAM section. Okay, you can see that it will always be starting from 0 cross 0060. It won't be starting from other value 00, because I already have discussed that it is because it is reserved for our IO section. Okay, so let me run this code step by step. So the first, you can see that program counter will be incremented on that thing. Okay, so first instruction, that is h is being in this. Okay, then executing the second instruction, while will be loaded by 60. Okay, and I was talking that it is nothing but it is your 27 R27. So you can see that in R27 also you will be having the same value 60. Okay, so you can see that R26. Okay, so you are loading your Excel, that is, it is nothing but it is loading the equivalently loading the value of R26. Okay, same way, if I step into, I will load the value in my while. So while is 73, and same way while is nothing but it is the general purpose register 28. So 73 is being stored in this place. Then you can load your Z. Okay, so Z would be loaded by 26, sorry, 86. So you can see that 60, 73, and 86, these are the three pointers, they are being initialized. In the next step, I am initializing my counter. So we can see counter in my R16. So R16 is my counter. Okay, so now this is the value which is being pointed by my X. So I'm expecting that after executing LDR16 R18 comma X, my 02 must be stored in my R18. So let me see whether it is being done or not. So if I'll see my R16, sorry, R18, 02 is coming over here, and in R19 06 must be there. So with execution of the next instruction, my 6 must be stored in my R19. Now I am executing R18 add instruction, add R18, R19, and I'm expecting my result in my R18. So after executing it, you can see that the result has been in your R18. Then you will be storing that result which is on the memory location pointed by Z. So it is this. Okay, so I have purposefully write 06 over here, but after execution of this instruction, you will see that this value will change to 8 as my R18 is having 8 value. So this is the value that you can see. Okay, then you will increment the two all the 3 pointers by using 3 instructions. Okay, then you will decrement your counter for looking that whether the 8 instructions have been completed or not. So previously it was 09, now it has become 08, but it is not equals to 0, so it will jump to loop. So again it will jump to loop. Okay, and this process would be carried out 10 times, and after that it will come out of that. So let me go step over. Sorry. Need to stop debugging again into the. Okay, so this is how, and finally after completing 10 iteration, it will come over here, and I have again gone into the debug mode, that is equivalent to the reset. That's why all the value have become 0. So this is how you can use your branching instructions and your looping instruction for any purposes. Okay, and these are the pointers already I've discussed. Okay. So I think I have made it very clear that how you can use your branch and loop instruction in your AVR microcontroller, as well as I have also made it very clear how we can use your RAM section and the 3 pointers available in your AVR microcontroller. Okay. So is there any doubt, my friends? Hello.
No, sir.
Okay, so if you are not having any kind of doubt, this was all from my side for today. See you in the next class with programming of your IO port of ATmega 32. Is there any doubt, my friends? Hello.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.